Honourable Minister, Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, distinguished guests, dear ladies and gentlemen. I am first of all very honoured and very pleased to be here with you today on behalf of the European Commission, but also in my own home country, to speak to you about the European Union's contribution to addressing the challenge of dementia and Alzheimer's disease at this important conference. The European Commissioner for Health, Tonio Borch, would have very much liked to be here today. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend because of other urgent obligations, but he has asked me to speak to you on his behalf. We have heard already about the size of the problem. Recently, the World Health Organization published its World Alzheimer Report for 2013, in which it expressed its expectation that the number of people suffering from dementia would almost treble by the year 2050. It also said that the increasing number of older people in need of care will become one of the greatest challenges for health systems, and indeed it already is. And the key message of the report was that countries would not be prepared for this challenge. So against this background, a rather stark background, I would like to give you an overview of the activities at European Union level which have been undertaken to support the member states in dealing with the present challenges linked to dementia and Alzheimer's disease, but also in preparing them for the future challenges that will undoubtedly come. Promoting active and healthy aging and addressing forms of dementia, such as Alzheimer's disease and others, is a central element of the EU health policy agenda and is a key concern across all of the member states. Today, more than 6 million Europeans live with dementia, a degenerative disease that primarily targets persons aged 65 or more. All diseases pose challenges, but no other human condition affects the identity of an individual, their relationship with the outside world, and their ability to survive within it in quite the same way as dementia. And the implications are significant and wider for the people with dementia themselves, but also for their family members, who are also often their informal carers, and also, ultimately, for the health and social welfare systems that are facing and will continue to face really unprecedented challenges. But let's see what has been done so far. We have, in fact, progressed quite significantly, first of all, in recognizing dementia as a health priority, both at EU level and in member states. And a great deal has also been done to recognize it as a social and research priority. If we just look back to 2009, so not very long ago, it was then that the Commission established its strategy on dementia through its communication entitled A European Initiative on Alzheimer's Disease and Other Dementias. And in that short span of time, several major activities were initiated to implement the strategy or to complement it, and I would like to focus my overview on some of them. Let me begin with the ALCOVE joint action, which has already been completed earlier this year, and I must say very successfully. And the final conference took place in Paris in March. This joint action was carried out between 2010 and 2012 under the lead of France and involved in total 19 countries with a total of 30 partners. And the work focused on 4 fields. The first one was epidemiology. We needed to know the size of the challenge. And as an outcome, it was estimated that there were about 6.4 million people living with dementia in 2011, which corresponds to a prevalence rate of dementia of around over 7% in the population aged 65 years or older. The second field studied was the timely diagnosis of dementia. We have already heard about the importance of that. Thirdly, the ALCOVE joint action addressed the rights, autonomy, and dignity of people with dementia. And this work was mainly about the legal frameworks needed for advanced declarations of will by people with dementia. And fourthly, the joint action developed a series of recommendations regarding support systems that are needed to cope with the behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia. In addition, as a practical measure, the joint action developed a toolkit to limit the use of antipsychotics in people living with dementia, In fact, the joint action outcomes highlight the importance of improving the access of people living with dementia to non-pharmacological interventions and to exercising. For each of these themes, the joint action produced very clear and concrete recommendations addressing some key challenges and the fundamental questions with which people living with dementia and their formal and informal carers are confronted. And these recommendations are now publicly available via the ALCOVE website. Dementia also needs to be addressed in the wider scope of policymaking at EU level. The Commission is working with various stakeholders under the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging. And we are piloting their collaboration on innovative projects to accelerate and upscale innovation in the area of active and healthy aging. This partnership offers a unique platform to address the challenge of aging by encouraging and harnessing the potential for innovation in health. In summary, in the partnership, we are operating a shift from reactive disease management to screening, anticipatory care, and the prevention of functional decline in old people. We aim to increase the use of innovative, coordinated, and comprehensive community-based prevention delivered within an integrated health and care system. The partnership also aims to enable elderly people to continue to lead independent lives with functional limitations with the help of adapted housing and the use of innovative ICT solutions. Such innovative solutions, such as personalized guidance systems, hold the promise of bringing about significant benefits if they are tailor-made to empower, educate, and inform individuals of care and lifestyle choices. And in this way, patients would stand to benefit from a better and more active life, whilst also contributing to reducing the demand on care services. The partnership also seeks to change the current widely held but erroneous perception that aging is a burden on society into seeing aging as a challenge which can be turned and must be turned into a positive opportunity. Needs can also be translated to markets if we develop a good policy to deal and promote innovation. Within this partnership, 2 action groups are implementing actions to support patients to cope with Alzheimer. These are the groups working on the prevention of frailty and functional decline, and also the other group working on age-friendly environments. Cognitive decline is one of the main topics on which the partnership's action group on frailty and functional decline focuses. And the activities of this action group span from the improvement of screening methods for detecting early dementia to the diffusion of new ICT tools and services for better aging with cognitive impairments. The second action group, under the European Innovation Partnership, promotes the development and diffusion of innovation for age-friendly environments. And this includes, inter alia, better design of housing and environments, and also changing attitudes to dementia amongst the general public. The success of this innovation partnership, where we have seen a very good response, will also contribute to relieve some of the budgetary pressure on healthcare systems and allow member states to more efficiently allocate precious health and care resources. Of course, we have to speak also in the context of the current economic and fiscal situation. And in this context, where health expenditure is coming very much under the spotlight, a key theme for the European Commission, therefore, is that of investing in health. Investments in health should be seen by governments not as a cost burden, but as indeed an investment in the economy, which can also pay great dividends, provided, of course, that the right choices are made. A key theme in the Commission's policy on investing in health is improving the quality of life and well-being of older people, certainly because that is a value in itself, but also because it can create much-needed jobs and growth in the economy. And this is one of the key messages that runs throughout the Commission's recent paper on investing in health, which forms part of the social investment package. Both the demographic changes and the financial crisis that we face actually provide an opportunity to do things differently. And the paper is about engaging further in health system reforms through identified priorities and resources. And specifically, the paper makes the case for investing in sustainable health systems, for viewing health as a human capital, and for reducing inequalities in health. But to achieve all this, we must first of all free up resources for these much-needed investments. And therefore, we must also focus on efficiency gains, which should come from the structural reform of health systems. We also need to emphasize the social dimension of these changes and design sustainable health systems which can provide accessible, high-quality services. And of equal importance, we must resist the temptation to make false savings, false economies that only sow the seeds of future problems and end up costing more. There are a number of measures which can be taken, ranging from reducing unnecessary hospital and specialist care, through using health technology assessment, to increasing the use of generic medicines, among others. And these issues, and many others, are increasingly being addressed in the many country-specific recommendations. This approach requires a more holistic view to healthcare, and vitally must include greater involvement of older people themselves in their care plan. Innovation is also a key central component and has the potential to help older people with dementia remain for a longer time as active members of the community. In a time of crisis, we must not forget that Europe, despite all the difficulties, still possesses considerable resources which we can deploy. And more targeted, applied research on effective prevention, early diagnosis, timely intervention, and care models are one of the ways in which we can do this. A further key initiative proposed in the Commission's strategy on Alzheimer's disease and dementia was the research initiative EU Joint Programme on Neurodegenerative Disease Research. This initiative tackles both scientific and social challenges of neurodegenerative diseases. In fact, the Joint Programme is the largest global research initiative aimed at neurodegenerative diseases. This is a clear illustration of the fact that the European Union is addressing dementia and Alzheimer's disease as a priority health issue. With a budget of 100 million euros committed for actions planned from 2011 to 2014 in 27 countries, not just EU countries, we also have Canada on board, the joint program represents a major research investment. This joint program also received high visibility during the European Month of the Brain, which the European Commission organized in May of this year to raise awareness about EU investments in brain research. Through its 2007-2013 research framework program, the FP7, the European Union has so far invested almost 2 billion euros into brain research and innovation. Of these, more than 400 million euros went into research into neurodegenerative disorders, mostly on Alzheimer's disease, 202 million, and Parkinson's disease, 167 million. And funding for brain research will continue in Horizon 2020, which is the next EU research and innovation program. Indeed, Horizon 2020 emphasizes even more health, demographic change, and well-being as a key societal challenge and aims to improve the diagnosis, understanding, and treatment of diseases. This will be particularly relevant for research on dementia. For example, neurodegenerative diseases are one of the health priorities addressed by the Strategic Research Agenda of the proposed Innovative Medicines Initiative 2, IMI2, which is expected to start in January 2014. And in this process, the European Commission and the pharmaceutical industry will both contribute significant funds to improve and increase the rate of research. Over the next decade, the European Union will also support the ambitious Human Brain Project, involving dozens of European and international research institutes. And this project aims to reconstruct the brain through supercomputer-based models and simulations, not only to develop groundbreaking new technologies in computing and robotics, but also to apply this knowledge in medicine. And this project may therefore result in major outcomes for research on dementia. But we also have to address the challenge of dementia in all our policies, and I would like to say a few words about EU social policy. Like EU health and research policies, EU social policy is all about working with the member states to develop responses to dementia-related challenges. The Social Protection Committee will deliver in early 2014 a report setting out the social protection challenges for long-term care and ways of addressing them. In addition, the We Do project on well-being and dignity of older people, which was led by the Age Platform Europe, has developed a European quality framework for long-term care services. This is just a brief overview, but as you can see, the European Commission does not and will not let up in the fight against dementia. Over the past years, and on the basis of the Commission's strategy from 2009 onwards, mental disorders have become an established priority in EU health, research and social policies. But fundamentally, member states have a key role to play, since they are primarily responsible for organizing and delivering healthcare. At present, 8 member states have adopted national plans on dementia. 9 more countries are working on theirs. In 2009, when the Commission adopted its strategy, only 1 member state had such a strategy. This is a major achievement, and I am confident that the actions at EU level contributed their share to them. Of course, the ultimate objective must remain that all member states, as soon as practically possible, adopt strategies on dementia and Alzheimer's disease. We know how effective these national plans can be in areas such as cancer and rare diseases. Why also not have them as a key tool in our struggle against dementia? The European Commission, for its part, will continue to support member states in their efforts in the field of neurodegenerative disorders and particularly on dementia. And let me give you 2 concrete examples of future specific actions. First, the Commission intends to present in summer 2014 a report about the implementation of its strategy on Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Secondly, the Commission services are reflecting about the best possible follow-up actions to the ALCOVE joint action once the new health programme will have been adopted. Clearly, there are several issues that would merit further work at EU level and which were not yet covered by the ALCOVE joint action. For instance, future work could address the possibilities for prevention of dementia. Other potential themes could be post-diagnostic services, care pathways, and the qualifications which carers should have. The Commission will, in due time, make its decision as to whether it will include an invitation for such future action in the first work plan under the new health programme. To conclude, I would like once again to stress the importance which the European Commission attaches to involving people living with dementia and organizations in its work. And my participation in this conference on behalf of Commissioner Borg and our constant support, particularly to Alzheimer Europe, both signal that the Commission highly recognizes and values the important contribution which patients and NGOs make to shaping policies on dementia. Thank you, and I wish you all a very successful conference.